Today is April 19th, 2026. Well, there wasn't a lot of people following me home today from work. When people realize they hired ISIS, people scattered. When they realized the Kingsman from Texas that everybody's seen, that the guy's an Iraqi, they already knew that. And where they always say, we have the right to do this, we have to do this, we everything. Well, what religious group calls everything's we, and they come from Iraq? They're Muslims. ISIS. Hmm? And it all sprang off of Al Qaeda, the people that took down our towers, where they said the guy doing this was going to prove that the U.S. government and its people were so dumb they would fall for anything. They're the ones that want to extort money from the U.S. government to pay for them to kill people. The ones that took down our towers. Do you know they probably killed more people this time with this terrorist act? And these people are so dumb here in Ohio. They fell for it until they realized it was ISIS and Al Qaeda. Then people find it not funny. Where people were even talking yesterday how that church hired that Muslim group. They talked about it, a couple days ago in Walmart. We all know that church hired that extremist Muslim group. Why didn't they go to jail? Why didn't they go to jail? You can't hire an extremist Muslim group to harm someone so that they think that their hands are clean because they hired a hitman. That makes you just as guilty. Do you know how many thousands of people were human trafficked and killed and murdered, including women and children? Because of what they did? Why weren't they arrested? See, and then you think of that fucked up family, and it is a fucked up family. They think because they're millionaires, they're above the law. They're rich white people. They are not above the law. There's a lot richer people that have went to jail for less. And then you think, March 27th, 25, after midnight, they had already told an FBI agent that when they went in that office, everybody made everything up to help get away with this. And they were in there lying to the FBI. So why weren't they arrested last year? Why weren't they arrested? They admitted to an FBI agent that they lied to the FBI, gave false statements, and conned them. Why didn't they go to jail? Nothing. You afraid of rich white people? That are connected to terrorists? So what happened March 10th this year? March 10th, 26. An investigator, Walmart West Tusk, electronic aisle. Back there, how he didn't find one bit of this funny. Since that family told an FBI agent that everybody was in there lying, including them, they met with that agent that it never offended them. That strange cloner figure. Then you got to think. How stupid it sounds. We were offended 15 years ago. It's been 23 now. When he called her a faker, she no longer went to our church. We had to hunt her down. It had been 15 years. We decided to kill her now. Because what our minister lied on her. She had nothing to do with her kid's death. Lisa's father killed her kid. She wasn't even there. But he made up a mean lie on her 6 months later. And we waited 15 years to kill her. And then even though she didn't go to our church, we had to hunt her down to kill her. Psychos. You can't even feel sorry for people like that. See, that's where they already confessed that Michelle, which was strange, his son Tim was cheating with a girl named Katie. okay? In '01 and '03, my sister got caught following her husband cheating with that girl, and that strange made that me not lie up on me. Got rid of me real quick. Had nothing to do with that family. That her father murdered their kid in vehicular homicide. That was speeding at a high rate of speed. Blew through a stop sign into a semi, and Brian said it was like an explosion. Tyler got ejected through the air, slammed on the pavement, and Phil got ripped into pieces. It was like an explosion. Her father was speeding. Now everybody thought Strange had something done to him. He probably drugged him because he had already been standing up to Strange not to correct his own wife because she swam in a public pool. He got sat down and he's publicly defying this man, and then all of a sudden he's speeding and he don't stop for a stop sign and runs into a semi. Strange likes to drug people. They would have never looked for hypnotic drugs. Think of that. They would have never looked for that. It would make more sense, his wild actions. I wasn't even there. Brian had to show up and tell us. They had nothing to do with the 6 to 10 surgeries. I had my muscles locking up, and I was in so much pain I went to a bunch of crackpots. Falsely diagnosed, gave a big bunch of wrong meds. Whole body swelled up, had pneumonia several times. My legs are so swollen. My knees are popping out of place. I had to have them drained by orthopedic surgeons every couple months. They gave me canes and braces because my knees would slide out of place. Huh? I'd had heart attacks, seizures, thyroid adrenal gland shut down, and I'm dying from medical malpractice. They're lying so bad they even said I have level 2 brain tumors in my pituitary gland removed. I go to my community health, and they said, whoa, those doctors are known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, making them sick, and getting kickbacks from the drug company. And they're sharing with their associates and friends that are doing the same thing. They're just ripping off your insurance. Now they're wanting to do unnecessary procedures. Get it? It's a medicine making you sick. The only thing's wrong with you is your muscles locked up from all those surgeries. Get an attorney and sue them, and we'll represent you in court. Turmo the state to pull their license. Encourage Dave and I to sue them for years. I went to Dr. Eli. He agreed. Put me on fentanyl patches. Fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine. Like he said, your muscles are clenched and locked. And the only way to get them to unlock is to move. And you're in so much pain, you can't even move. And he said once you get to moving, blood flow will get pushed into them. Then they'll relax and rebuild new muscle tissues. Everything else is caused by the medication. And so over 9 months, I slowly got well. I started with him in like October, November of 2002. First month, I lost 30 pounds. Second month, I'm pulling myself around stores and malls. Got in so much pain, I ended up in the hospital. By the third month, I could drive a car. Did my own grocery shopping, my own everything. At home, I practiced walking all the time. My mom, even the FBI and police, had recorded her that I did practice walking for months. I'd take 1 step, 2 steps, I'd fall, pull over to a couch and try to pull myself up because my knees would go out from underneath me. And then trying to walk on numb legs that are swollen. It was humiliating, and I would cry. And all I could see was the humiliation that I couldn't walk anymore. And it took me months to learn to walk again. And see, that's where I even went on Google, having all those stomach surgeries. Will that cause you to lose use of your legs? Yes. Back surgery? Yes. I have a 5-inch scar on my back where they had to cut out the damaged part of my kidney tube. Without the 6 to 10 surgeries on my stomach. Try putting all that swelling on top of all those surgeries. Then, yeah. My muscles clench. I have red freckles on my stomach and on my legs where the muscles would raise up through the skin and the blood vessel would break and I'd bleed through my skin. Talk about excruciating. They put me on fentanyl. 100 times stronger than morphine. I'll give it to fakers. Told you by April I was almost well. I'd went from a 24 to a 16. And even they were cheering me on at church. Carolyn, look how much weight you've lost. And we always see you out driving your car, pulling yourself up and down streets, stores, malls. You'll beat this. I said, they talk about remission, but it can't happen fast enough. You'll beat this on your own. Well, May 3rd, 2003, we're all at home, and Brian had to show up and tell us about that accident. I didn't get well till July. June, I got my fentanyl patches redone. I didn't get well till mid-July. Took me about 9.5 months. Come November of 2003, my sister Linda is married to the stranger's son, Tim. She was out in like 2001, found her husband out with Katie. Started following him. She won't say nothing. She had my mom following my sister. They're cheating. She's not going to say anything, so we stay out of it, and we avoided them like the plague. Uncomfortable, polite conversation of acting like you don't know anything. Hi, how are you? And you can't say anything because she's not going to say anything. Then you don't want her to be homeless. And she's not willing to say anything, and she's not willing to say anything and stand up for herself. We just stayed out of it. 2003, November 2003, she came up to me. I was following them again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry. Be careful. Strange made up that lie by that weekend. Now, did it have anything to do with that fucked up family? I wasn't even there. They ought to be ashamed. They ought to be ashamed using their family's tragedy to harm somebody who wasn't even there. They had nothing to do with those surgeries, the medical malpractice, medication errors, and 9 months of recovery. Nothing. And the world does not revolve around them, and they are not God of glory and God of creation that everybody bows and kisses their ass. They may be, millionaires? There's people that are a lot richer that went to jail for a lot less. Now, where they told an FBI agent, March 27, 25, that when they went in that office, an FBI office told all those FBI agents a big lie, told you it was a big skit. All in there boo-hooing and crying. Oh, it offended us when he called her a faker. It had nothing to do with her father killing her kid. And then you have to be a retard to believe it. You have to be a retard. The whole thing that I went through was 5 to 6 years. 5 to 6 years. See, that's where 5 to 6 years. And this whole thing, 5 to 6 years. And they're saying they're offended? Well, whoop-de-too. It had nothing to do with them. Like they told an FBI agent, it didn't even concern them. Had nothing to do with them. Lisa's father killed her kid. She wasn't even there. They just lied and made everything up. They lied to the FBI. Did the FBI arrest them? No. No. They were all in there lying to them. Did they arrest them? No. So, March 10th, 26. An investigator, how he's been mad and found out none of this funny since that family admitted to an FBI agent that they made everything up and they were lying. All of them were lying in there to get away with this. I don't believe one bit she threatened Katie. I never threatened Katie. Why would I? That was Linda's problem. She didn't want to stand up to her. And her husband cheating, that's her own fault. Why would I? See, that's where I found out after that guy said that. People came up to me. Even clearer down in Sugar Creek. Katie always told everybody you never threatened her. She was just mad because you wouldn't give her the time of day and wouldn't talk to her. Well, she's not God of glory and the king of the world either. That people have to go out of their way to kiss her ass. And then when people found out I hadn't been part of her church for 15 years and that she cheated with my sister's husband and that's why we avoided her, nobody blamed me. See, that's where, who do these people think they are? See, that's where, where I asked Frances in 2011, I couldn't figure out why people were making up stuff on me. She's like, well, Mary hates you. That's Katie's mom. I said, how could she hate me? I haven't seen her in 8 years. She starts laughing. Is that what's going on? I said, what's going on? You don't know? Know what? Never mind. I found out by other people walking around. They said she was telling people you threatened her and you hadn't even seen her. Lying for people's attention. Of somebody they didn't see or talk to. I didn't even go to their church. And then think of this. This is Strange's son, Tim, his son's mistress on the side. It's her and her lion mama. My husband starts dating her lion mama's niece that's messed up in drugs. Her and her dad, that her niece Michelle, which is Katie's family members, Michelle and her dad, Henry Moffitt, hard to tell him what his real name is. Debt to drug dealers. Strange hates the government. Preaches the government's evil. They'll come in and take your kids. They'll brainwash them. You have to hide your guns in the backyard and pipes. They'll come in your house and take them to the government's evil. The government he hated. His mistress's family member that my husband's cheating with now. Debt to drug dealers. Has a chance to get rid of somebody he thought would dare follow his son years before. What do? They go online. And dear God, they hired ISIS, the king from Texas, the Muslim group, the Iraqis, for we have the right to break in and drug her. We had the right to do all these things. No, they did. For what Muslim group from Iraq refers to themselves as we. ISIS. They hired ISIS, which is an offset of Al Qaeda, which took down our towers. The ones that are trying to prove the U.S. government and its people are so dumb they'll fall for anything. Now, I want you to think, even Melissa, my ex-daughter-in-law, John's ex-wife, she was friends with Dave's girlfriend, Michelle. I told you I got to thinking about some girl walking by when Agent John showed up at Apostolic Church of Barberton when I went in and sat down. And those women are following me. 2 of them follow me. He knows she's being drugged, being raped. He didn't care. And because that Strange called me a faker from 15 years ago. Now, see, being a federal agent, an educated man, does he know things go into remission? Yeah. Does he know there could be medication errors? False diagnosis? Yeah. Does doctors fix things and then you get well? Yeah. Is there logical explanations for why people get well? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? There's a lot of reasons people get well. Surgery fixes stuff. Treatments, physical therapy. Some things are just medical malpractice and medication errors, and then some things go into remission, and some things are treatable. People get well all the time. As an educated man, would he know that? Yes. And would he know that they would not be allowed to take the law into their own hands? Told you while I was sitting there, some blonde girl with her hair down to about her shoulders walked by. I told you I knew somebody that we could call that take care of all this for us. I realized that probably was Michelle, one Katie's family member. She wasn't much to look at, sort of plain Jane. That was her, wasn't it? Showing up how they knew you. Is that true, Agent John? We were telling them you didn't care I was being drugged, being raped. Because Strange called me a faker from 15 years before that. It's been 23 now. Where even Melissa, after the FBI case started, where the drug dealers, that said they worked for a drug lord, said Melissa was willing to help them get away with this, was going to have the kids lie. Well, that got the feds' attention. They followed around. What do? They caught Melissa friends with Michelle, Dave's girlfriend, the one that is in debt to the drug dealers. Having her kids say they're lying, and then on Thanksgiving of 18, in a legally bugged house. What did they get taped saying? They wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Later on the floor, they made everything up. They were games of pretend sick shit. When I asked John what was going on, he didn't know. He had told Melissa we were going to be moving out. I was going to be moving out, going through a divorce, and that she'd have the kids and the church people make up something. But don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. He says it several times. Nobody can say anything bad about you. A couple years later, he asked me to be a reliable name on a court record to watch his kids, because she pulled a mean stunt, and so that he lost custody of his kids. Snuck in his house, hid, waited for him to come out of the bathroom, lunged at him screaming. He shoved her being startled. Had him arrested for domestic violence. As she's laughing now, I got you. That's not domestic violence, that's breaking and entering. And Ohio is a stand your ground state. You get the idea? It was a bitch move. And he tried to get his kids back. He lost custody of them. Asked me to be a reliable name on a court record to watch his kids. I was working 2 jobs. I didn't get off the first one, let alone the second one. I barely made it. And it took my paychecks to make it. And I kept begging me to help him, and I couldn't. And I felt horrible. And he kept saying, but these are my kids, Mom. I said, John, I can't afford my apartment. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Lost his kids. He moved to Florida years ago. Got remarried. Looks really happy. Started his own church. June 13th, 14th of 25, I found out they had somebody impersonate John. Yeah. July 26, 25. Walmart 62, an investigator from 18 came in. I told a couple I got rude with me. I told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing bad ever happened to him. And all her other boys were already speaking very highly of her. Okay? We're Officer Mark. Right after Thanksgiving of 18. Melissa could go to jail for involving herself in this. I'd hate for to arrest her. Kids are little. Why don't we just write it up? They were showing off for Dave and his girlfriend. They wrote up his document of mean games to pretend. Massillon police told Mount Carmel, Illinois in June 23rd to July 4th of 21 that their documented mean games to pretend that I had never hurt anyone. Stark County Sheriff's Mayor 21 were laughing at some guy named Kurt. If Kurt just found out those kids are lying, he's slow. October 5th, 21, in front of one of my clients, they were talking about Melissa and her kids lying in Huntington Bank. We go to leave. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. It's like ex-girlfriend, my ex-husband's ex-girlfriends. Um, yeah, take that back. My ex-husband's, how can I put this? Um, that's my ex-daughter-in-law that was friends with my ex-husband's girlfriend. Had the kids make up some mean games of pretend on the Thanksgiving of 18. He's like, it's been years. And they're still talking about that girl line. It's been 3 years. Talked about it everywhere. I went into Pennsylvania in May of 21. They were talking about her lying there because they sold the log in July. And then they talked about her lying in June 23rd to July 4th of 21 in Illinois and in Kentucky. Officer John stopped men at the door January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m. One of those kids get tape stating they made everything up. Laura, my other granddaughter, ratted him out October 23rd, 2019. I said, do you know how mad I was when they said the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa? Grandma needed to get out. Said that's not what they said. They said this. And it was filthy. Josh went, ooh, don't say it again. It's not true. She started laughing. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Sat down next to me laughing. I would have spanked them all. See, that's where other investigators in Walmart 62. Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. And why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. Her whole family's been speaking highly of her. And how many times? Well, was it March 13th, 23? Two FBI agents from the Belden office. We told these people to stay out of it. We interviewed her, or we, how do they put it? Two FBI agents look like Joshy. Said, I think it was them that came in. So we told these people stay out of it. We interviewed our, how did they put it? March 13, 23, they came in Walmart 62. We told these people stay out of it. She's never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And it's just some lady thought she could make money out of it. That's where May 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning, Louisville plays the ladies with them. And they're playing that lady like a fool. Because even Officer Reinhardt, even the FBI would go to jail for being in your home outside that protected custody case with statements. It's right of privacy over your house. And she's out there telling them how she's going to trick me out of a bunch of money. And she found out I knew surveillance laws. How she was going to trick Dixie and Melissa, put their name on this and get them arrested. See, they only want the money. They're not doing it for Melissa and her lying brats. Where they were only lying for Auntie Shell to get the house. Do you know, even if you go to my old apartment on North Chapel in Louisville, apartment building for me, second close to the fence, by August of 21, they are little girls that live there, how they told them they were lying. Go to apartment buildings for where I lived on North Chapel in Louisville. Outside steps, those people moved out like February or March of 22. They were always outside talking about Melissa's lies. They chanted them on the streets of Canton. Those kids made all that shit up. Oh, how many times out in Alliance? They were calling for Melissa's arrest. July 26, 25, Magnolia. The Bell store, they were calling for her arrest, exploiting her children for money. Out in Belden, investigators in 23 talking about they taped those kids lying years ago. Nobody ever went to the hospital. Even 19, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. Karen's risking her life to get information on these people, and they're sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind her back. See, nobody went to the hospital. They're mean jokes. Nobody ever got hurt. They're mean jokes. Why do you think the police never questioned me? Because they were mean jokes, and they didn't make them up till the FBI case. There's no treatment for injuries. It's just them sitting around laughing. They're mean jokes. Documented mean jokes. You don't get money for making fucking shit up. Because you wanted Auntie Shell to get the house. And this whole thing was for Auntie Shell to get money to pay back drug dealers. That's why they're all in there. Was to extort money from the government. I told you Strange hated the government. They're all in there to steal from the government. November 23rd, 25, Summit Mall. There's girls downstairs that this whole thing was a extortion plan to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was already connected to us, so we asked him if we could do it to her. He said yes, if we made sure he got everything in the divorce. December 1st, 25, Walmart 62, they'd still have it. An investigator came in. Now, the pretty Michelle with the long blonde hair that's been telling on all of them went to him again, where they confessed this whole thing was to extort money from the government. Said that Michelle had showed up in his office. The other Michelle. Said that this whole thing was an extortion plan to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. They all were. It was Mary's mom's niece's drug debt, and they were all trying to extort money for him. Trick the FBI into give it to him. They're all in there to scam him out of money. With the most ridiculous scam in the world. Said, and Michelle said that these people already confessed. March 27th, 25. April 17th, 25. April 19th, 25. April 24th, 25. May 26th, 25. Oh, God. And on. Of the doctor from before is not one of hers. They works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. HIPAA violations. Could never have a doctor with them. They're dumb. That's where investigators said these people didn't even realize how illegal it was to put a doctor's name on this. Everybody go to jail. It's HIPAA. Okay? That the doctor from before is not one of hers. He works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And that guy Pete that was in my office running his mouth about her, she don't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. These people admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And the tape of Weird with Yourself is nothing but photoshopped or washing in the shower in the other room. The whole thing was just a scam to extort money from the government. So they're all in there lying. To what? Steal from the government to pay off Strange's sons, side mistresses, families, to drug dealers. Dave's dating her. He's his pet. One way to get rid of me. They hired ISIS. Judge Peter's group that was running around with him, selling and human trafficking people. For we all work for the king from Texas. We are his men. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. So you knew ISIS had walked into your office, right? See, how could you feel sorry for them? How could you? See, that's where my old house manager, Marlisa, her husband actually spent 21 years in jail. He killed his sister's killer. He beat him to death. He spent 21 years in jail. It's not because he's black, right? You can only be rich and white and get away with murdering people, right? Want me to go there? Because 21 years for a mental snap. I could see 5 in counseling medication. Do I think he would kill somebody on a normal basis? No. He was a young man, still living at home. He came home. He found his sister naked on the floor. Some bastard had took a knife, cut up her private area, stabbed her several times. She's bleeding out on the floor. Dying breath. She told him who did it. Fit of rage and horror. He knew him. He found him and he beat him to death. Is this almost justified? It's not. Because you cannot take the law into your own hands. That's where I said if they put him in there for like 5, got him counseling, medication, his mental snap. He's a young kid, seen the most horrible sight in the world, and his sister died on top of it. Spent 21 years in jail. See, you think of these grieving parents that some bastard actually kills their kid. They go in and the police have got them, they're prosecuting them, and in a fit of horror, walk into a courtroom and shoot the bastard that killed their baby. They spend the rest of their life in jail because they took the law into their own hands. You can't do that. The only time you can ever harm somebody, self-defense, or in defense of another life. That's it. So the thought that these people are running around, we were offended. What the hell? On someone calling her a faker? And see, that's where they have already confessed to the FBI. They were in there lying to all of them. Everybody was. They were just there to steal. Steal from the government. Extort money. That's all they were in there for. Is to get Katie's family member, her mom's niece, Michelle, that Henry Moffitt, their dad, to drug dealers. To get them paid off. Gotta think Judge Peters' group from Florida was here. California, the Kingsmen. And who is the Kingsman? ISIS. For we had the right to drug her and to get the truth out of her. We had the, where they're drugging me and telling me to say stuff. We had the right to go in her home and set up buying cameras. No, you didn't. You have the right to touch me. We had the right to beat and rape her. We have the right to make sure she has nothing in life. We are to make sure that she has no one and has no job and no car and she's homeless. We have the right to do these things. No, they don't. They don't have a right to go in and frame somebody and drug them up and tell them to say something stupid. Have them beaten, raped under the drugs, and the poor thing's so drugged up they think it's a well water giving them cancer, going to the doctor saying it. Photoshop washing in the shower in a drug scam. And it's ISIS trying to steal from the FBI. Using that occult to do it. Now, do you think it's funny, Agent John? For who is a Muslim group that is everything is we? ISIS. The extreme Muslim with the long hijabs, face coverings, long black dresses. Middle Eastern men. And people would act like, oh, the Kingsmen are here. You know they're pimps, right? And drug dealers. Pimps and drug dealers. And serial killers. You know, they used to even say back years ago, had to be willing to dismember somebody and put them in a garbage bag to work for them. They're serial killers. Why would you not run the other way and tell on them? Because why? They offer you a little bit of money to shut up? Because they think you're stupid? They all think you're stupid. And that's where the other day at Subway, so help me, anybody yells anything stupid at me, I'm going to put it up where the police can find you that you are part of a terrorist group of ISIS and trying to help them steal money from the government. I'm going to put it up that way. And trying to help a terrorist act here. And by the way, there's a lot of them in Fairlawn and Medina that were here, part of the case. Oh, in which we're going to go ahead and handle this now. I wasn't going to say it on a tape, but I'll say it now. That's where Katie's family member and that so-called attorney's office that's involved that I've never met, that's in it with ISIS, raping people in their homes, setting up button cameras, running drug scams on them. I don't believe you're an attorney's office. Put it that way because you know better. But even had him terrorize Carl out of his farm. He had to go on medication from them inciting his son Rick to threaten to kill him. He beat a horse, poisoned a cat, and tried to frame Carl. Carl wasn't even there. Played with our food, got in our bank account, broke in our home, stole paperwork. We had to run. And he's telling people how he's going to kill his father when he gets a hold of him. And have him do that to an 80-year-old trying to steal his farm. And then I thought, why would you want that place? Carl doesn't have oil on his land. He sits next to people that have oil. I've seen a lot of the bad cars driving around where the next door neighbor, Mo Hauser, is selling 200 acres of land. He's not selling the mineral rights. But the bad people are looking at it. And where they said that they're wanting to buy land around Carrollton. Why would you want Delroy? I mean, I'm not being mean. It's 10-15 miles from Carrollton. It's 10-15 miles from Magnolia. 3 miles is a Dollar General, and it takes you 10 miles to get to a gas station. Either way. You're out in the boondocks. There's nothing. Why would you want to live there? Unless you're a farmer, why would you? Because people aren't going to pay to live out there. Unless you're a farmer. And then you got to think, Mo Hauser isn't selling the mineral rights. But those wells are there. And it's ISIS. And that ought to scare you to death. That oil wells are out there and they want that land. If that don't scare you to death, and it needs to. Okay? And why else would they want that land? There's nothing out there. It's on the boondocks. Boondocks. You literally have to go 10-15 miles to get a town. And Magnolia is so tiny. There's probably 2 little restaurants. Little side restaurants. There's not even a McDonald's. You have to go to Waynesburg for that one. Another 5 miles. You have to get on the other side of Magnolia to where you're going out of it. And then there's a Bell store. The Subway in it. That's where the gas station is. And then you have to drive another 10 miles to a McDonald's that way. See what I mean by you're out in the middle of nowhere? Why would you want to live there? Unless you're going there to retire. Why would you want that land up there? Unless you're a farmer. Then you think that Florida wanted it. Where that Michelle. Why don't you think about this? September 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning. Biker brings Dave's old girlfriend down there. Started yelling. The guys running it said no one's allowed to say a word to her again in life. They found out this whole thing was your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she even know who you are? No, I don't want her to know. She don't even know you, and you had her skull bashed in, her raped and tortured because your family was in debt to drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. I listened to her friend Matt in her talk on January 13th, 23, that the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life over those people getting human trafficked, and it was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. And your family human trafficked people because you were in debt to drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. She's a little kid and she's sorry. I found out it was your family that put her new husband's family up to threatening his life and terrorizing him, trying to take his farm. She's like, yes, but I really liked it. I'm sorry. I really liked it. And I wanted it. Okay. I listened to September 23. The original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything. Did you know that? Yes. Did you know that they already confronted her ex-husband? Two, that if he knew it was fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors that made her sick before. Did you know that? Yes, I knew that. Of course I knew that. January 1926. I'm joking around in the car with Carl. Within the first month or two of the FBI case, I got through Instagram, I had got a message from this guy called Henry, calls himself Henry Muffy, said, I think you're beautiful. Something about love on the beach. I don't know. Some weirdo just being inappropriate, okay? Don't know him. Start going out to stores, people are talking about him, and then people that are saying they're from Florida and they're drug dealers, he's riding around with them. Okay? After the case started. Don't know him from Adam. Well, people have been screaming out threats and all this crazy shit at me. I said they need to realize with me being an FBI informant, they can kiss my ass. They can kiss the FBI's ass, Agent John's ass, the U.S. government's ass. They can kiss the judge's ass that signed it. And they can never touch me. And I turn on MC Hammer, you can't touch this, and I'm dancing around the car, joking around, trying to make Carl smile. I mean, he literally had to go on medication. He had been so scared he wasn't even sleeping. He's going to start counseling. I want you to think about this. These people think they can terrorize anybody out of anything. It's ISIS. Huh? He comes in with another guy. He's like, the officers that watch her for the case only watch her because they feel sorry for her dancing around like a little kid in that car. He said, they only watch her because they feel sorry for her. They like me, there's a quarter. He said, I'm the one that got a hold of her online. I thought you looked like that picture from years ago. With those text messages were just you being a jerk, and I don't know you. I proved her ex-husband she was cheating. That's not cheating. My husband was found out was cheating with your daughter. Actual cheating. You sending a couple stupid weird text messages mean nothing. He said, and I tell all men she's not good enough for another man. And I'm glad I never met her in person. I thought, buddy, you wouldn't have got a pity date. He said, I'm the one that told her new husband's family that I'd steal everything back from them. I found out his son was down there vandalizing stuff on the farm. I told him, stay out of it. I'll steal everything for them. He said, I got a judge's friend that'll enter my tapes in court. From the tape of Weird with Yourself, the shower scene in the other room, and the drug confessions. And while the FBI is busy with me and the soda, have all the cases money turned over to me. And I'll be long gone and pull a fast one on the FBI, and I'll steal all their money from the case. They won't know what happened till it's too late and I'm gone. I wrote the president, and I thought, over my dead body, bitch. You're ugly as a horse's ass, and you would have never even got a pity date. And I'll be damned if you think you're going to get the money that I earned. Helping the FBI get information, trying to stop these people from where Dave threatened to kill my children for Karen. Realize I'll kill everything you ever loved in life. Realize I'll kill it. And I thought, over my dead body. You want me, you'll get caught going through me. You'll get caught killing me, but you will not kill my children over my dead body. And if I had to go around taping all my witnesses too, to make sure there was extra evidence, to make sure he got stopped so they didn't die, over my dead body, you'll kill my kids. Then I look at that guy and it's like, over my dead body, you'll take money that I earned. When I was raped, I was tortured, my skull bashed in, I was human trafficked, drugged till I lost 70 pounds. They induced vomiting till they shifted, my stomach shifted on my ribs. I got a damaged rib cage, a damaged shoulder. I was human trafficked. I faced 6 stalkers. I faced shooters. By the grace of God, am I alive? And I'll be damned. You get 1 dime of that money that I earned, that was meant for me, and for me to be able to help my children. You will not steal from me and my children. I'll be damned you get a dime of that. I wrote the president. I wrote FBI Internal Affairs. That FBI owes me that money. And so where rejects show up, Agent John said no one can help her ever again in her life because she said something the FBI was involved. Well, bitch, he told on me before he talked to me. And he can't, by federal law, if an FBI agent tells a victim or informant, if they say anything, it is a federal crime that no one will help them, and they try to withhold protection. You can go into attempted murder, it's blackmail, tampering with a witness, and obstruction justice, and 20 to life in federal. They can't even say it. Let's see. And if they say that an FBI agent tells a victim or informant they won't get their informant money, if they say anything the FBI is involved, it is blackmail. Obstruction justice, tampering with a witness, and it is extortion out of government funds. And it can be considered a crime against the U.S. government because it is government funds meant for the informant. Where criminal attorney, police, prosecutor's office all said he can't even say it. It can't be in a court order. No judge could sign it. They owe you that money, Karen. He cannot withhold it. He cannot misdirect it. He can't give it away. He can't do any of this. You get the money for risking your life and only for risking your life to get that information. He cannot even ask anybody to stay quiet. No judge can sign it. It's a freedom of speech. It takes a judge in a jury trial. It is a constitutional right. And agents are only hired police officers. And no judge can sign it. They'd all go to jail. Oh, even in that law where if informant's money does get stolen by that agent, not only do they get 20 to life in federal, they have to repay back every dime. Every dime. They'll sell everything he's got. And if the judge signed it, they'd sell everything they got and they go to jail too. Like everybody said, from the police to the criminal attorney to the prosecutor's office, no judge can sign it, they go to jail. Can't sign blackmail, extortion, racketeering, obstruction, tampering with a witness. You still owe me that money, Agent John. I need it. I like a new name for me and Carl. So, new socials. We need a safer place to live. We can live anywhere with a new name, though. I won't have to worry about Rick showing up to kill him. Where these people told him if they killed him, they could get him everything. They lied to him. Like Sheriff Cox, or Deputy Cox said, take your husband and run. This is crazy. He's got too many people involved. They were breaking my apartment, messing with our food. They already poisoned a cat, beat a horse, telling at least 4 or 5 people he was going to kill his dad and me when he finds us. It was crazy. Him getting in our checking account, stealing paperwork from our thing. It was horrible. And, he keeps leaving threats with family members. And he's finally had to go into counseling. He's 80 years old. And the reality of it is his stepson, Lester, admitted September 10th, 25 in Tuscarawas County Courthouse to a judge that years ago he almost beat Carl to death when he was mad at him for telling him not to swear at his mother. He beat a 70-year-old man almost to death. And like Carl said, the only thing that saved his life is he got a hold of the middle of his throat while he was beating him. And he said, or he would have killed me. He said, I don't have the strength to fight him off anymore. See, and then I've got it out of Carl that his late wife Brenda would have, that Lester would have her daughter, grown daughter Deb, and grown daughter Veronica beat on Carl and beat on him every time she got mad. Then have Deb sexually assault him. He lived in fear and horror for 20 years. He's 80 years old. He doesn't have very many years left. I'd like my sweet husband to live his life with people around him that love him. And he's never afraid for his life again. Get counseling so he can heal. He's lived through horror. He's a retired vet. And a sweet, kind man. And his son, he broke his father's heart so bad. He came home when we were still living in our mobile home, stomping. I said, what's wrong? He said, Rick threatened to kill me. Told me he'd kill me if he had to kill me to take my land. And he threatened to kill you. And I told him he will not threaten to kill you or me to take it, and he won't get nothing. If he thinks he's going to threaten to kill me, he threatened to bash my skull in and yours. He didn't even know what he'd do with your body. And if I was still alive, he'd put me in a nursing home and have me found incompetent. And he didn't care if he had to kill me, kidnap me, and he was going to kill you. And he said he was screaming at me, and I started screaming back. And I told him he is no longer my son. The day he threatens to kill me, to take my land from me, and if he had to do that to take my land, he is no longer my son, and I never want to lay my eyes on him again. He went in the closet, got out a big bin. I said, Carl, what are you doing? It was a big picture bin. He ripped up every picture of Rick. All the way down to the time he was a baby. He said, I never want to lay my eyes on him again. He literally threatened to kill me, to take my land. He said he gets nothing and I never want to even look at him. And so he started leaving all kinds of threats. Started upping it. He beat that horse, poisoned that cat. Make sure he knew he was serious. And when he gets a hold of him, he's going to kill him. He left messages. You tell Dad he wants a threat. When I find out where he is, I'm coming. Carl had to go on medication. He's been telling all kinds of people how he's going to kill me and Carl. Because they told him they could get that land for him. Playing with a damn fool. He got nothing. He's been wrote out for a year. See, it was never Rick's. It was never in a trust either. Like a savings account for them. Nothing. It was just Carl's. And then it was after we got married. Within a few months. It became Carl and mine. Carl added me to the deed. I was on the deed. I was on the deed. Because Carl could trust me. And Danny's tried to make it safe so Carl can go down and enjoy his land that he grew up on since he was 4 or 5. He could have got a lot more money from other people. But Danny offered him a deal that he put up gates, fences, chase Rick off. And when it's safe, Carl can go down there and walk on his land that he grew up on. Reminds him of his dad. He was only 4 or 5 when they bought it. It means the world to him to go down there. A lot of times we just go down, we'll go for a long walk and we'll leave. It means the world to him. He said he didn't have the heart to let it go. It's the only way that he could make sure they could go see it was DNA Steele. See, Agent John, give me the money you owe me. I can buy a lot of Mo Hauser's land, but somebody else needs to buy it than the Florida or the ISIS. Do you understand? There's wells, oil wells. I don't know if they're going to steal oil or if they'll blow them up or what they'll do. But they want those wells. There's nothing else worth anything on those properties. See, Carl don't even have a well. He only has a pipeline. He only has a pipeline. Carl sits in a basin where there's nothing. But he only was getting mineral rights because he sat next to him. And then they overpaid everybody years ago, so no one's even getting mineral rights right now. Be a couple years before they go out. But those wells sit there, and they're still active. That's weird. This is way above my level. I get my truck of somebody money, I'll buy everything. But somebody else needs to make sure they buy that land. Don't let those terrorists get it, because hard tell them what they're up to. Because why would they want it? Good question, huh? I'm going to upload this.